The story of Malachi. Malachi teaches that God desires sincere worship that comes from a heart that truly loves and honors Him. He calls believers to remain faithful in every part of life, including worship, relationships, and daily obedience. The book warns against empty religious practices and encourages genuine devotion to God. Malachi also reminds us that God never changes, and His promises are always trustworthy. Through its message of repentance and spiritual readiness, the book encourages us to stay watchful and faithful as we look forward to the day when God will fully reveal His justice, mercy, and restoration. Malachi begins by confronting the people for giving God less than their best. They offered flawed sacrifices and approached worship with careless hearts, treating it as a burden instead of a privilege. God calls them to honor Him with sincere devotion, respect, and wholehearted worship. Through this message, Malachi reminds us that God desires genuine love and commitment, not empty actions that lack true faith and reverence. Malachi rebukes the priests for failing to teach God's truth and for leading people in the wrong direction. Instead of setting a godly example, they neglected their responsibility and caused others to stumble. The book also addresses faithfulness in marriage, reminding God's people that relationships should reflect honesty, commitment, and respect. Through these warnings, Malachi calls believers to live with integrity and remain faithful to both God and the commitments they have made. Malachi foretells the coming of a messenger who would prepare the way for the Lord, a prophecy later fulfilled through John the Baptist. The book calls God's people to return to Him with sincere hearts and renewed obedience. God promises His favor and provision to those who faithfully follow Him, while warning against neglecting their responsibilities toward Him. Through this message, Malachi encourages believers to trust God, honor Him faithfully, and live with hearts fully devoted to His will. Malachi highlights the difference between those who reject God and those who faithfully follow Him. He assures believers that God sees their devotion and remembers those who honor Him with sincere hearts. While judgment awaits those who continue in wickedness, God promises to protect, value, and care for His faithful people. This message brings hope, reminding us that God never overlooks genuine faith and will reward those who remain loyal to Him. Malachi ends with a powerful promise that evil will not last forever. God declares that those who persist in wickedness will face judgment, but those who remain faithful to Him will experience His healing, renewal, and blessing. The righteous will rejoice in God's victory as His truth and justice triumph over all evil. This message encourages believers to stay faithful, knowing that God will one day make everything right and reward those who trust in Him. Malachi closes with a prophecy about a messenger who would come before the Lord, a promise later fulfilled through John the Baptist. The book calls God's people to turn back to Him with sincere repentance and renewed faith. It warns that the day of the Lord is coming, bringing blessing and restoration for those who follow God, but judgment for those who continue to reject Him. Malachi's final message is a call to prepare our hearts and remain faithful as we wait for God's promises to be fulfilled.